So, it's been a little while since we've done a soapbox. And,
Has it been? We did one for Dark Souls not that long ago.
we did one for Dark Souls. It was a few episodes ago.
Fair enough.
But you had brought something up actually before we started doing the show. And,
It's been going on for a little while.
Yeah. And so I do want to let you lead this particular soapbox because you did send me a bunch of important stuff for me to look at. But tell me what our soapbox is about regarding Warhammer.
Today on our soapbox, we get to discuss Games Workshop, who some of you may know that create wonderful titles such as Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40,000. And boy, this one's fun. Because Games Workshop in the past has been pretty hit or miss with a lot of people. Very pricey products in their miniature lines. Some pretty well received video games that they did not make themselves, but their IP, obviously. But boy, lately they're getting just not fun for anybody, really.
Right.
So I believe this all started with the launch of their new streaming service, Warhammer Plus.
Very inventive title.
You remember when we had Delve Plus?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Well, that was in jest. And unfortunately, it is no longer in jest because even at my night job, we've got a sign there that is Walmart Plus. That's the thing
Great.
that you can sign up for. It's a service.
Terrific.
So we inadvertently called the future out.
Cool.
But Warhammer Plus is a streaming service a la Netflix, the Netflix of Warhammer, if you will.
Great.
Call back to our old previous Netflix thing. But it's focusing on animations and I believe some battle reports and the like. And first off there, personally, I go, do they have enough content to make Warhammer Plus a streaming service that has anything on it worth watching? Anyways, so I sent you a bunch of videos from a YouTuber named Arch. We can probably link him in down there if anyone wants to check him out. And I've been kind of following along with this. He's done some really scathing. I don't even think they're scathing at this point. I think they're just calling them out. A bunch of videos now about, Warhammer Plus being shady and garbage and the content being laughable, and then a bunch of other stuff where, let's see. Games Workshop has come after the fan creators on YouTube with cease and desist orders.
You know, what you
Essentially.
really want to do if you're trying to expand your brand and bring more people into it is to go after the people making content off your IP.
Right. And here's the thing. And Arch did a great video about this one, and I totally agree. And a couple other YouTubers, I've listened to one from Brava Alphabusa, who does the If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device series, which has millions of views on YouTube. And he had this one video that he put out more recently because of this. And it was, we're going on indefinite hiatus because with the new updates to their terms and their policies, I forget which part of it, essentially it's like we're not sure if they're going to try and sue us if we continue doing this parody series about Warhammer. And it's like, we love the universe and we love all the stuff going on, but like we cannot support that and we can't put our livelihoods at risk because of a company pulling this bullshit. And it's sad because a bunch of creators that use the Warhammer universe, which is a really long lasting, it's been around since the 80s.
Sure.
Warhammer's been around since the 80s. And these people who love the universe, who make this content out of fun and yes, make a living doing it, it's like they don't want to be sued because they're making money off of it and seen as inflammatory to that IP.
Right.
So that's just the tip of that iceberg, Nathan. I know you watched a bunch of videos recently because I sent them to you to kind of understand this whole dumpster fire that
Right.
is going on with GW right now.
Right. Yeah, so I did get that, and I was seeing a lot of like the DNCs, or yeah, that's what I wanted to say, and a lot of the fan made content and all of that they're going after, which I never really support, and I never really understood. I don't know. I've seen it a lot.
Yeah,
Nintendo actually did
it's
something like it too, but yeah.
well, Nintendo typically doesn't do that stuff unless people are making fan games, for instance. Is
Oh
most
yeah,
often I feel like what you see with Nintendo, like Pokemon Uranium, which
right.
was just a fan-made game. And I understand IP law says that you need to protect the integrity of your IP so that other people can't take it. If you lapse it, then you cannot claim that as your own. IP laws are really interesting in that way. They're kind of shitty, but protect your IP because you have to.
Right.
So that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if people are making parodies or using your world to make content, talking about it, even lore videos and stuff like that, that shouldn't be an issue. That is giving you free publicity. Even Arch was saying there have been tons of people who get into the Warhammer universe through either his content or other YouTubers, for instance, that make content dealing with Warhammer. The text-to-speech device, I would throw people at that because it was just a whimsical series.
Oh, sure.
And they're like, I don't really know much about Warhammer. I'm like, well, you don't need to know a whole lot, but here's some videos that this guy does that are absolutely hilarious.
Sure.
But also really on the nose with the Warhammer canon. Like, does it diverge a bit? Yes. Is it pretty on the point? Also, yes.
Sure.
So with the Pokemon Uranium, yes, I can see them saying, hey, you can't make this game. I know it's a fan game, but you can't be using our IP, excuse me, our IP to make your games. You got to use your own.
Sure.
That's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Going after your fan creators who are, again, giving you free publicity to people to get them into your hobby, into your stores, and to buy your books and your media.
Oh yeah.
That's dumb.
Yep.
That is self-sabotage.
Yeah, it is. It is the essentially Warhammer is not a big fan of the people that like Warhammer. So yeah, Warhammer kind of hates people that like Warhammer in a lot of ways. The thing that I was fascinated with, and I probably watched the most about, was actually the Warhammer Plus service that they were making, because I don't understand what they wanted to do. It's like a paid subscription service, I guess, like Netflix, but it has Warhammer content on it, so like, you know, I guess articles and some animation pieces you can watch.
So it's got some of their White Dwarf magazine articles.
Okay, great.
Magazines. Battle reports, which are game reports from the tabletop.
Okay.
I believe, I think they wanted to have some painting stuff on there anyways, like how to paint or showing people how to paint stuff.
Oh, sure.
Which is, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because they're people who play Warhammer or hobbyists. And then the animations and the video content, the series, which they did go ahead and basically buy out some people that made fan creations.
Okay.
And they were like, yo, we want you to come make stuff for us, and we'll pay you for it, but in doing so, you cannot be doing it on your own like YouTube channel anymore. You have to take all your other content down, and you can only do it for us.
Right.
Which is also kind of a little shady. Like, yes, I understand you want to own their work now to do on your platform only, and you can say you can have a non-compete clause. I understand that, but to have them remove it when that stuff people like, and then would still go from that to their new stuff, allegedly, seems a bit weird.
It's weird. I'm kind of two minds on that. I appreciate when companies see that there's people that can do a better job with some stuff, and will go, oh, well, instead of going after you, we'll actually, like, bring you in. It's sort of like when they made Portal, off of like Half-Life, and then they basically hired the crew to do the actual game. Or the one more recent one is in The Mandalorian. Disney had put The Mandalorian out for Star Wars, and they had the facial like de-aging for Mark Hamill to make him look younger. And a bunch of these folks that like do deepfakes, they were like, we could do a better job with that to make it look way more like the actual Mark Hamill from the original show. And they did. And it looked amazing. It looked literally like Mark Hamill in the original Star Wars trilogy. And instead of Disney kind of going, oh, I don't want you to do that, they were like, actually, we're hiring you to work on the show now. Because it's like, that's great. The thing I have a problem with, though, is saying that now I can't also create like original content on my own if it's not something I'm contracting with you for.
Well, one of those things I think is okay is the non-compete clauses that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you work with a place, they don't want you to do something that's in competition to what they do. So say Warhammer does not want you to go ahead and make something that would draw people away from their content.
Fair.
So if you make your own content, I believe that is nothing to do with that brand. It's totally a different thing.
Yeah.
But don't make something that's in competition.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the if you work at a place, they don't want you to open up. If you quit a place, they don't want you to open up a business for X amount of time in competition with them or near them. You know, it's one of those things.
Sure.
But that, Nathan, gets you into their NDA if you watch some of those videos.
Yeah. I'm interested in that as much as I was in the video tutorial about making your characters just a sheen of regular black, like the painting tutorial of just matte black for the but the NDA, kind of a fascinating thing going on. Basically, just like, well, you can't have negative press about us. It's like you can't criticize us for creators that are in the space, and that they're, you know, if you sign up. I mean, this is my understanding. You can correct me on this, but that essentially, if you take this deal, Warhammer will be like, oh yeah, no, you can make stuff content in our realm, but you cannot criticize us in any way, shape, or form, and you cannot, you cannot, basically disparage us or critique us in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and it's for like 3 years.
For 3 years, great.
Yeah, so it's an NDA for the stuff that's going on, and then you cannot say anything negative about Games Workshop. And I would have to watch one of the videos again on it for a refresher, but it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna make these people sign NDAs to be able to talk about Warhammer, but they can't talk about anything negative at all.
Talk about anything negative.
Okay.
Yeah.
What? That's just all sorts of shady things. All sorts.
Yeah.
Warhammer hates their fan creations. They hate their fans. They don't care about their users. They want to burn in the dumpster fire.
And that would be our opinion for the day, basically. And it's sad too, because one, such a long-running IP in the gaming space, but I know that you have a very long history with Warhammer as a brand as well.
I enjoy the lore. I enjoy the universe. I enjoy a bunch of the games that take place in that universe. It's interesting. I have a tattoo that is from Warhammer.
Yeah.
So it's like really disappointing to me to see the company that owns this IP is just being complete fucking garbage to their fans and their creators and the community, and just not paying any attention to them and not caring. Yeah. It's shady and shitty to say the least.
Yeah.
We will leave a link in the description to the channel that I had Nathan watch as well.
Yeah.
He does a much better job explaining this stuff than we do. There are many videos that he's done so far. They are all very enlightening, to say the least. Also, he has a pleasant Scottish accent. I believe it's Scottish.
some kind of thing from the British Isles.
Yeah, I think it's Scottish, but
and maybe there might be a playlist specifically because I know he does other content as well.
he does other like Warhammer and Starship Trooper lore stuff as well.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that stuff, that's cool too.
That's cool,
but if you want to learn more about this entire Warhammer controversy or Games Workshop controversy, watch some of his videos.
Sure.
Send him some love.
That'd be
or
good.
just fuel for the fire against Games Workshop, perhaps.
Right, because sometimes the companies like Games Workshop will kind of fall under the radar because people might not be looking at them as much as some of the larger creations in space. Like,
Sure.
but if this was being done by like Wizards of the Coast, be like there'd be like screaming all over the place.
Oh yeah.
But I think because Games Workshop is a little bit more niche with Warhammer, as it stands, and apparently doesn't want to break out of that at all because
they apparently don't want to even sell minis anymore. So who knows?
Great, terrific. Then it's why it kind of falls by the wayside. I think that the interesting takeaway that I was getting from watching all of that is this notion that maybe Games Workshop is not quite as interested in the actual Warhammer like game itself as much as using the IP for other projects.
Yeah, and that's definitely one of the things that Arch hit on as well.
Yeah.
Where it just seems like they're trying to pull away from the gaming part of Games Workshop to focus on their videos, their novels, their everything else, their interactive media, the gaming, like video games.
Oh, sure.
And I guess it kind of makes sense. They have a lot of lore and a lot of world to work with, and there are game companies that make games that sell really well. To be fair, the Warhammer gaming space for video games is a mixed bag of complete garbage and absolute gems. So
I liked Inquisitor Martyr, but I had optimization issues that kept me from enjoying it as much as I probably would have.
Well, you can probably play it on your new computer.
That's true.
Just don't play it on the highest settings, because it's still not optimized at all.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I am friends with one of the people that's still working on the game.
Good.
And he's like, it's not optimized. 100% not optimized.
It's not.
80 million triangles.
Wow.
That's a lot of triangles for their graphic design.
Yeah.
It's very processor heavy. Also, new classes coming out for that soonish as a DLC.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Soonish, 2022. But
yeah.
New class.
If you like that kind of thing.
If you're into that shit. I still enjoy that game, and I already bought it, so I'll probably still play it. But
right. Now I did also touch on briefly like something like Vermintide. I did try to play, but that's not my kind of game. Those are more like 4-player co-op PvE like game.
It's a killing floor type game, yeah.
I wasn't big on them, but I guess you try a bunch of different things and see what sticks. Who knows? Maybe a mobile game next. That would be fun. But
maybe it'll be San Andreas on mobile.
Oh, but you know, I'm sure Grove Street Games is looking for their next project. Games Workshop, hey, I'll tell you, if you're looking for something, it'd be amazing. Yeah. So takeaway from the Soapbox this week is
Burn in Hell, Games Workshop.
That, and if you're gonna make your fans the adversary, don't be surprised when it affects your overall IP and visibility.
Yeah, and your stocks plummeting.
Yeah, and that too.